Ladies and gentlemen, I am your co-host Andre C. Right over here is the very surprised princess Mel Ball because I started recording the show while she was in the middle of a conversation. Um,
So
we
rude.
we are here to talk some NJPW G1 Climax. How you doing, Mel Ball?
I am doing great, Andre. It is Monday. It is early, and it wouldn't be the start to the week if it wasn't chaos already in Malball's household.
I
So
thought it
she
was Tuesday.
overslept, but still made it here on time and still not looking like a swamp witch. So we're gonna be happy about that. We got our pre-workout going. We're gonna hope that whatever the tingly stuff in that makes my head wake up wakes me up soon. Andre, my friend, how are you doing?
I'm good, and I thought it was Tuesday.
Good God. See, like, what the frick? Chaos, chaos, glorious chaos. It is Tuesday.
It is
Oh God,
Tuesday.
it is Tuesday.
And we are here to talk some NJPW. We're talking here G1 Climax. Before we get into that, I want to thank all of you for all the great support you've been giving us, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, um, and then commenting. We'd love to hear from all of you guys. So please, the more comments, the better. We love talking to you about professional wrestling. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted every time we drop a new video. But
Ding ding.
we are going to hello.
Every time you
Oh,
say the bell, I'm gonna ding dong.
and I'm gonna say hello. Gotta give that shout out to Bailey, man. Um, we're gonna get into some G1 Climax, so we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna start with night number 5. Let's start with Yoshihashi. I have the wrong set of notes up. Shit.
Mm.
Yoshihashi versus Tangaloa, each coming in with 2 points. I thought a fun little opener. Um, like Tangaloa looking, I think looking really good. We've talked about it in both the first 2 matches, looking really good. Beautiful delayed jackhammer where he like holds him in the delayed suplex, then smashes him with the jackhammer. I'm like, yeah, bring that back.
Yeah.
Um, Yoshihashi looking really good with his chops and everything. The double throat chop to the neck, like where he goes to the
Yeah.
neck of Tangaloa looked really quite good. Um, Lois slingshots over Yoshihashi with the sunset flip at one point, but Yoshihashi ends up like rolling back and rolling through and hits that thrust kick to the face, and
Mhm.
yeah, he's got some smooth. He's not always perfect, but he's got some smoothness when he wants to be.
It's the
Yoshihashi,
G1 Yoshihashi.
yeah. He really is, and that G1 Yoshihashi lasted. The last G1 Yoshihashi lasted a good bit last year too.
He
So
did. He did. He really milked and banked upon that G1 Yoshihashi-ness for quite some time afterwards. He did lose it a little bit.
he
Did
did.
lose it a little bit, but I'm glad
Um,
he's back and that he's around a lot more than he isn't.
Oh yeah. So in the end, though, Yoshihashi turns ape shit into the crucifix bomb.
Mhm.
Second time in this tournament, and
Mhm.
steals the win because Loa was in solid control at the end, hitting that
100%.
diving headbutt and the bit a huge lariat, and but
Mhm.
Yoshi like stole this win.
I agree. I agree. I was actually really hoping for Tonga on this one, not to take away from Yoshihashi. As we said, G1 Yoshihashi is like top notch, top tier. But Tonga Loa, he is coming back. I would like to see him come back on a higher note. Um, so hopefully the rest of his tournament will be a little bit more dominant as I'm expecting. Something I was mentioning to you before we went on here was the lighting in this arena. Like the arena itself is beautiful,
Mm.
very very spacious, very large arena. But man oh man, is the lighting in this arena very unforgiving, particularly on Yoshihashi. I was giggling at the beginning there, just because he Lord help him. His eyebrows, they looked like they were not there. Like they had just decided to come in a separate entrance and eventually found their way to the ring for the match. Um, Once I got past laughing at that, the match was actually, for me, this one is the match I had the most notes on. Um, I felt that Yoshihashi, again, looking really good. G1 Yoshihashi, tons of pinning attempts really early on Tongaloa, reversing almost everything he had. I really, really enjoyed that. To expand upon the chops that you were talking about, I really liked how Tangaloa's response was responding to the chops because Tongalo, I mean, he's got them, I mean, big old ditties. You know, I mean, he's Big Teats 2.0 really in NJPW when Big Teats isn't here. So yeah, Yoshihashi really tenderizing them titties, but Tongaloa just laughing it off at one point, which just it's something about his personality, Tongaloa's personality in ring that I absolutely love. So when you're trying to go savage on him, and he goes even more savage. Um, it makes his matches really, really entertaining, and he doesn't have to say much. He does not
No.
have to talk much in his matches to get his point across, and I think that's why I enjoyed this match so much. Both Yoshihashi and Tongaloa have this. We've mentioned this before. The terminology, the facial expressions. They just have really great facial expressions, and they do the right things at the right time. And they both really did flex their veteranness and experience in this match. This was a phenomenal opener for me. I really really enjoyed this.
Mhm.
Um, I also enjoyed how um, it went like from Yoshihashi's bout kind of with Will Ospreay, where he had him bleeding, and like that match very very serious, to this one where it was the opposite effect, where Tongalo was firing up and not bleeding. Like the difference in like chest tickles afterwards. Osprey again bleeding. Tongaloa, you didn't even notice it was red. And he was hitting him just as hard. It was so crazy. I like it. Like I said, I loved this match. I think this was the match of the night for me. And it was weird because it involved Yoshihashi.
It's those Tongan tickle bitties, you know.
Yeah. Oh, diggling, diggling.
Tongan tickle bitties. We move on. Second match tonight. It's Gabe Kidd and Ren Narita, each coming in with 2 points. Um,
Mhm,
Narita like turns on the entrance and stops like Kid, and like the kid comes out of the chair, he dodges the chair. Narita ends up dropping him. He just heads to the ring and grabs the mic, and I assume tells him to get his ass to the ring. Because again, I don't know what the hell he's saying, and Kevin's not translating because Kevin's not the Chris Charleston's the translator. He's not there.
I'm sure
Um,
it had some kind of, explicitive latent get your butt down here so I can kick
yeah.
it.
So they get in the bat in the ring. They're beating the shit of each other.
Mhm,
Kid biting the forehead. Um, yeah, Kid ends up suplexing Narita over the top rope, and they tumble to the floor. They look
mhm,
really rough, like especially on Kid, the way he came down on the corner of the apron. Ow.
mhm.
And Kid ends up getting whipped in the barricade, and Narita just boots him over the barricade. Looked pretty rough.
Very Okada style.
Yeah. And when they got back in, it was very like just beating the living piss out of each other. Both these guys are very cerebral in that style, in that
Mhm.
wanting to beat the crap out of each other. With Narita being a little bit more technical, I think. Even though kid
Yeah.
like they're very familiar with each other from their
Mhm, mhm,
time with the LA dojo. Remember that. These two know each other quite well. Again,
mhm.
just a lot of really good back and forth. Um Kid, his wheel kick looks really good. Or sorry, Narita's wheel kick. Sorry, Narita. I'm reading this. I'm really bad at reading. Um, the wheel kick by him looks really quite good. I think.
Mhm.
Um, Kid ends up reversing a Cobra twist, gets a knee bar, and, and man, somebody's mowing your lawn outside your window. I'm guessing because I can
Yeah,
hear
yeah, I think that's the city workers.
those jerks. And then the end of the match comes. They trade big boots. Kid gets a hard chop, and Dorita gets a running knee mushroom stomp. Looks so good. Hits a Northern Light suplex. Applies the Cobra twist. But Kid end up pulling the ref in. Hits a low blow on Narita. Gets the pile driver. Gets the win. Just uh, I don't like
And
it.
mocking Shibata afterwards too, sitting cross-legged and cross-armed in front of Narita.
Yeah.
That's some big talk for a guy who just cheated to win. But a win is a win. 2 points is 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The one word I think that I could use to define Gabe Kidd right now is defiant. He is utterly defiant. like incensed. He's pissed off. I'm kind of living for it. I like this over the top attitude because even though it's like borderline House of Torture shenanigans, it's in a way that is organized. It's in a way that makes sense. Like with House of Torture, it makes no sense for them to have started their shit the way they did because
Mm,
they were picking up consistent and solid wins. With Gabe Kidd and the War Dogs, all of them are picking up wins. And all of them are picking up wins in tag team bouts, in singles bouts, and effortlessly. Like, the rough stuff and the low blows, it's obviously not something that is on the level kind of
mhm,
thing. They are still a heel team. And they're doing these heel wins in a heel way that's not obnoxious like
mhm.
House of Torture. The sweat that was coming off of these guys when they were chopping each other was unreal. There was one point where Narita chopped um, Kid, and like just this like massive like spray cloud of sweat just came just off of him. I was just like, ew, but awesome. But ew, but awesome. We were not in the spray zone, so we were good. Yeah, this was fun. I really,
Right.
really do enjoy the new attitude of Gabe Kidd. I would like to see Shibata 2.0, Little Narita. I would like to see him evolve this character that he's kind of doing a little bit more. I did feel that because Gabe Kidd was so loud in this, that he did drown him out a little bit, which is unfortunate because the talent that Narita has, as you mentioned, technically quite above Gabe Kidd. This was very much like a Japanese strong style, European strong style face off.
Yeah, I thought these two absolutely tore it down. Again,
Absolutely.
really strong match.
Hmm.
We move on to match number 3. It's a battle for last place. It's El Phantasmo versus Great Okan. This is actually their first singles match
Hmm.
together. And then Kevin Kelly gives a stat that Khan is 47-7 this year between tag matches or something. I don't know in the last 365 days, he's 47-7 between tag matches, singles, all that shit. So
How? Those are some pretty good numbers.
I think
I'm
it
not good at math, but I assume that's good numbers.
yeah, 47-7. Yeah, that's a good winning. That's a winning percentage. Not many sport teams have
I mean, what's the percentage on that?
like really good. I
Your
don't
math
have
is as
a.
good as mine.
I don't have a calculator.
Whew, tell us about the match, Andre.
I'm doing math. Give me a second. I'm getting the percentage. It's 87% winning percentage.
Sorry, say that again.
87% winning percentage.
Oh,
That's pretty darn good.
yeah.
But if you realize he's lost some critical matches in there, especially again like the ones for the KOPW title and things. So again, yeah,
He is still the champion of the British, though.
yeah, yeah. I really love these two, and I thought they actually did a really good job together. ELP's getting a little more cheeky as the matches go on.
Mhm,
I love Khan ripping the tape off the back of the neck of ELP and to
mhm,
really work the neck and like being like, I'm not letting you support your neck. You're just really working the neck.
mhm.
And then he gets like a Boston crab, but then like gets the head scissors on at the same time. It was this like head scissor Boston crab thing. I don't know. It looked really good,
Mhm, mhm.
but ELP does get the ropes. They end up Khan get Khan gets ELP in the corner, but ELP slips out uh, before getting an enzuigiri, enzuigiring Khan off the top rope to the
Mhm,
floor. Hits the tope suicida, sending Khan into the barricade and over into the space in between the one barricade and the second barricade to the crowd.
mhm,
Then he goes back up to the top, hits his springboard cross off the top into
mhm.
that space onto Khan, and they go crashing into the other barricade, which is
Yeah.
right up against the fans. And that looked rough as fuck.
Yes, and our new young lions, bless their hearts, doing their absolute best. They're not as good as the old young lions in regards to saving the people.
No, there's a
Oscar,
little.
do something.
What the entire night is Kevin Kelly. Oscar, why didn't you save me? Whenever like somebody attacks near him, it's like Oscar, what are you doing? Like it feels like Oscar is Kevin's personal protection now. Is how it
And
feels.
he's terrible at his job.
He needs to get some Loibe in there, man.
This brings me back to that moment a few videos ago. Do you remember where I was telling you someone else? I can't remember who. It was during the juniors tournament. They ended up going flying into the crowd, and Loibe was there trying to hold the barricade, but he was holding the wrong barricade. I'm starting to feel like he is maybe the adorkable big dum dum that we're supposed to love.
Probably.
He's going to be the moose of the Archie comics. He's going to be our moose once he finally hits the scene, and just bless his heart.
Yeah. So ELP with the springboard swanton in the ring, and then they hit the lion salt followed up, but Khan kicks out at 2. ELP tries to hit the UFO, but Khan slips out and hits an everything is Empire.
I love it. Love it.
Only gets like a seated sheep killer, but ELP gets his foot on the ropes. Again, really good back and forth between these guys with the lariats and the sudden death super kick by ELP and everything. Really good. But in the end, Khan hits the Eliminator backbreaker, applies a seated sheep killer, and Khan ends up tapping ELP out.
And like it wasn't a hard fought match for ELP. Like he's a bit of a goofball, and like that's why I kind of enjoy his matches. Ocon can also tend to step into that goofball kind of era, but I did feel that they kept this one actually pretty neutral. It
Mm,
wasn't too goofy, it wasn't too serious. It was very levelly entertaining. And
yeah,
they did enough stuff throughout the entire match to keep people on both sides of that fence, the seriousness and the goofiness. They did enough stuff to entertain everybody on the whole. I felt that this was a very well-rounded match.
yeah. I thought these two really worked. A simple, strong match together, but
Mhm.
without either coming. Yeah, it was very much like a in betweener versus a tweener almost in this. It wasn't heel
Yeah,
versus face.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like expected but unexpected at the same time.
Yeah, and all I gotta say is ELP get a better haircut, but
Maybe the color. Maybe the color is what you're having the biggest problems with. He kind of does look like a
it still
trendy
looks
Ken doll right
it
now. I'm not gonna
sti-
lie.
it still looks mullety, and I still don't like mullets.
Yeah, I have to agree there. Mullets are not my thing. It is trendy right now, though. I mean, look at how many people locally, internationally kind of have that. Mike Bailey, Stephen Crow, you know. I'm
None,
not saying I like it. I'm just saying it's trendy. I don't know why the kids think it's cool, but it's there.
I don't either. We move on. It's Chase Owens versus
This was
Hikuleo.
fun.
Hikuleo trying to score his first points and wants to get his first G1 points against Chase. But I found Chase was absolutely phenomenal in this. And it's not
Yeah.
really the in-ring, it's the veteranness that he
Yes.
brought to this match. And the familiarity that these two do have with each other.
Mhm.
And the fact that they teamed together for a long time with Hikuleo part of Bullet Club. I thought these two did really, really well together in that sense of you had Chase like having the answer for a lot of what Hikuleo was doing. He had the
Mhm.
ability to like just scurry out of certain things. Yes, Hikuleo got some good stuff in, but it was a story of Chase having the ability to scurry out and reverse and just be the veteran, be the strong presence in
Mhm.
this match, be that smart presence. And again, he's talking about it's like I'm not going to work hard. I'm going to work smart against all of my opponents. And
Mhm.
he said he's not looking past any of them. He says yes. His big match that he wants is with Sonata, but he has said when he was on commentary, and he has said in multiple interviews and in talking, he's not looking past any of these guys. Where a lot of them, I think, are looking past him. He says I'm in like this dude is weirdly, sneakily, probably gonna end up with the second place in this block. Just I I expect that at this point because again,
Mhm,
he's doing such a good job.
mhm,
Like
mhm,
Hikuleo, I thought looked really good in here too. Again,
mhm.
working with a very very strong 16 years of professional wrestling for Chase Owens. So you work with a guy like that who's that good, and he's been with New Japan for 9 of those years. So
Mhm,
I think it was 9. I think that's what Kevin Kelly said. So you got like I thought the back and forth of these guys was absolutely phenomenal. Like I
mhm.
really did. The spinning sidewalk slam by Hikuleo, he's getting better, man. It's getting
It
better
is.
and better every time.
That's
Then
actually
hit
one of my favorite things that Hikuleo does, just because he does it so perfectly and so effortlessly.
and then those hot shots every time or the snake eyes, whatever you want to call them. They're just
Yeah.
they're dead on and cut and then bouncing off the rope. Again, it's inspired by the Undertaker, but he makes
Mhm,
it look
mhm.
like his own. Like it
True, true, yeah.
yeah.
And, like, given how his height, like, he's very, very tall, obviously, that it's very hard to mess up at his height that kind of move,
Mhm.
I mean, even if he does, I feel like the person being yeeted could probably correct it very effortlessly if it happened.
So a big part of this match was that Chase Owens has his knee has been injured coming into this. Like
Mhm,
again, he had an injured knee before the tournament.
mhm,
That Kevin Kelly said, um, and so the end of the match comes with he gets a C trigger in the ropes. He tries to package power driver, but Hikuleo fights him off. They end up
mhm,
trading shots. Hikuleo lays in some hard shots and gets
mhm,
the snap power slam. Chase ends up slipping out of the choke slam, but when he lands, he collapses to the mat, grabbing his knee and pulling his knee pad off and checking his knee and pulling his knee. He has a knee brace on. So he
mhm.
takes his knee brace off, and the ref's checking up on him and everything. Um, and the ref gets distracted. He smacks Hikuleo with the knee brace,
Mhm,
but only gets a 2 count out of it. And
mhm,
then as Hikuleo's getting up, he gets to his knees, and Chase hits this just sick C trigger
mhm.
right to the face. And Chase ends up getting the stack pin and the win. I was like, holy shit, that was like it looked like it killed him.
Mhm,
And then
mhm.
as he's leaving, he says after the match, the bigger they are, or sorry, the dumber they are, or sorry, the bigger they are, the dumber they are. I'm just like, that's great.
Yeah. Classic heel. I love it. Yeah, as you said, Hickey Man coming in here pretty strong, but definitely got worked over by the experience and that veteranness of Chase Owens. Chase definitely tried to I think head game Hikuleo through a lot of the beginning of this match. Um, the kind of big guy, tiny guy thing that they kind of played where Hickey was getting in Chase's face and Chase was kind of like cowering away, like, no, 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 no. I really did enjoy that, but in the back of your head that he's just bullshitting Hikaleo there. You know that he's got a plan. He always comes in with a plan.
Hmm.
As you mentioned, Chase Wrestling very smart. He was very, very technical in this one, which is something that we are used to seeing with him. He really kind of does adapt to who he's kind of wrestling to in the ring, which is not something that everyone kind of does. And it was nice to kind of see him give a lot to Hikuleo as a result of that technicality in this match. Yeah, definitely a lot of head games throughout this. I personally thought that the way it ended was just the perfect villainesque
Hmm.
kind of way to end it because it didn't feel shenanigany like House of Torture. It felt like it made sense to the kind of heel that Chase Owens portrays.
Hmm.
So, I was quite happy with it as opposed to what I would be with other Bullet Club members per se.
Yeah,
Yeah, this one was fun.
yeah. I thought again, really strong match. Chase improves to 4 points,
Mhm.
and Hikuleo's still searching for that first G1 win.
Keep trying, man. Keep trying.
Yeah. So we move on to Kenta
Jesus
versus
Christ.
Osprey. Each man coming in with 2 points. Kenta attacks during Osprey's entrance, and
Mhm.
he takes the coat off of him. puts on Osprey's coat. He gets up, he mocks the hand symbol, but can't get the goddamn hand symbol right. The
I
stupid
was gonna
idiot.
say he kept doing this, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's this. It's very simple. It's this. That's
I
all you
thought
have
he
to
was
do.
trying to do the aerial assassin thing. So I'm sitting there like, why are you doing this? You're supposed to be doing this.
I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but it looked
Whatever it was not correct.
he did not know what he was doing. And then he takes the coat off, sniffs it, and like gags. And I'm just like, dickhead. Oh, it's funny. Again, this match was a lot of back and forth of these guys laying into each other, man. Like
Mhm.
just really hard hits, hard chops, hard forms. Like just two guys who are really good strikers, just
Mhm.
kicking the crap out of each other, and I really did like it. And, there's a beautiful spot where Kenta hits the Green Killer off the apron to the floor, and
Mhm.
Osprey gets back in at 19. It was just, yeah, beautiful coup de grace, foot stomp by Kenta, but again, only getting a 2 count out of it. Dude, it just, I thought these two did so well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. They did such a good job beating the crap out of each other. Then yeah, it just so we'll get to towards the ends. We really want to talk about this one.
Mhm.
Kenta gets the kendo stick when the rest down because he runs Osprey into Marty
Mhm.
Sami and he DDTs him. So he hits him with the kendo, gets Osprey with the kendo stick. Then Osprey catches the one shot, which was perfect,
Mhm.
and then ends up hitting Kenta, and does the whole like lightsaber flourish. I was like, yeah.
Mhm.
I was just like, yes. And he goes to hit him, but Kenta ends up hitting a low blow and gets the Defy World title, and he hits Osprey with it. Kenta rouses Marty, but Osprey kicks it too, and I'm thinking, thank fucking Christ. There's no. I'm like, I am not okay with like I would have been okay with Kenta beating Osprey, but not that way. You know
Not
what I
like
mean?
this.
Yeah, like give me a good finish with you two. So Osprey slips, as I wrote, the GTA. God damn, I meant GTS. But goddamn, he slipped the Grand Theft Auto,
Hey, whatever works.
uh, or the
That's
Greater
what
Toronto
counts.
Area, or the Greater Toronto Area, whatever you want to call it. And he hits a hook kick, but Kenta turns the Os Cutter into game over, which is an incredibly beautiful transition, in my personal opinion.
Mhm.
Um, but Osprey bites the wrist, deadlifts Kenta up, and it hits a sick ass power bomb. Not like Kenny Mega Olympic, but just a killer power bomb.
Mhm.
Climbs up, but misses Sky Twister, but lands on his feet. And Kenta runs at him and smashes him with the Biseko knee
Mhm.
but he only gets a 2. Again, it was just a great sequence of absolute perfection.
Mhm.
Osprey gets up, hits the super kick, standing hidden blade to the face, and just for the cherry on top, picks Kenta up, puts him down with the Stormbreaker, and Osprey is now at 4 points. Again, incredible match for me personally. Match of the night. I thought these two tore it the fuck down.
Mhm. Mhm. I really, really enjoyed this match. This one was I was almost hopeful that I was going to get 2 points out of Kenta on this one.
And
Almost.
and, and the thing is, at certain again that ending, as long as he didn't cheat to win, I would have been okay because it had been such a great match up to that point.
Mhm.
But when he did that, I'm like, God, please, God, no, God, please, God, no, and it did
No
fucking
more
Christ.
of this Bullet Club nonsense.
Well, you can't ruin a match this good with an ending like that. Is
I
what I.
mean, talk to Evil. We absolutely can.
Yeah, but he doesn't have good matches.
I don't like. He can. He needs to remove the shenanigans. That's a rant for another match. We won't get into that right now. We don't have the time.
But again, absolutely tremendous match, man. I thought
Yes.
match of the night for me personally.
For yourself personally, good.
Yeah.
Good. I will not dispute that. That was a great one. This
We
was
move
also
on
good.
to probably what was my second favorite match on this evening. Kaito Kiyomiya versus Shota Umino. Kaito Kiyomiya coming in with 4 points. Umino coming in with 1 point. Great back and forth at the start. Really like rapid forms in succession. The Uno rally back from getting dropped, ends up getting drop kicked in the knee, roll
Mhm.
to the floor. They fight on the floor. I thought these two had such a great back and forth. Um,
Mhm.
it's Umino's Tiger Suplex looks so good. Goes to the
Yeah.
top. It's just like shotgun style drop kick off the top. Then an inverted Bloody Sunday for two. Just absolute fire. Umino missing ignition, but stops half and half. Hits the very European uppercut and hits ignition for two. Uh,
Mhm.
it's the back and forth in this guy. The final beat DDT that he does, the hop over. I just call it that because that's what Johnny Gargano named the move, who's the finisher. But
Yes.
yeah, that final beat DDT over the top rope and into the ring looks really, really good.
Mhm.
Um, again, was it a match two ago? It looked really awkward as fuck, but this one looked a lot better. It's still kind of awkward, but still looks. I still really like the move. Um, Umino lines up for Death Rider, but Kaito hits a beautiful dragon screw leg whip. Again, this man
Mhm.
is insanely technical. If you don't know anything about Kaito Kiyomiya, think new young version of Keiji Muto
Yes.
crossed with
100%.
Okada. Crossed with Okada.
Yeah, it's like he wrestles like Muto, but he looks like Okada. But
Yeah,
then also has some Okada-esque things in there because the height that he gets on his drop kicks too, very comparable.
that's where like you add in like Okada's like athleticism and his flair.
Mhm.
I would put in Kaito, and then the technical mastery of Keiji Muto.
Yeah,
That's who Kaito Kiyomiya is.
I
Again,
agree. I agree.
like the back and forth these two, they're just wrestling the shit out of each other, dragon screws, like all this. It's just these two are killing it, man.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
just brawling throughout. And again, this ends in a time limit draw. But again, just if you want to watch two guys go for 20 minutes, just keeping you on the edge of your seat, keeping you enthralled. This is a
Mhm.
match. This is one of those matches you want to watch.
100%, 100%. And arguably, both of these men have been really kind of picked as the next generation of their companies. Shota Umino, even though like Shota, Suji, and Narita have all kind of come and gone at the same time, approximately. I
Hmm.
feel like Shota has just been pedestaled a little bit more than the other two. Maybe it's because of his lineage, who his daddy is. Maybe it's just because he's made a lot more noise than Narita and Suji, because Suji has made some noise, especially
Well,
in Mexico. But like Narita has been pretty letting his work speak for his itself kind of thing. Whereas Shota, with his intro, with his everything, he's heckin' loud and proud about all of the accomplishments that he's made, and very good for him. Unfortunately for me, though, it's becoming one of those things where there's stuff about him that I'm really starting to not like. The intro is one of them. It's too heckin' long. Just come out like a normal person. If you're coming out in the crowd, fracking move. Don't sit there like la 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 la. I'm dancing with my shit. Like, no, get to the freaking ring. Get this match started, because
it,
I would have loved to have more, even though it was a 20-minute time limit and they went to a draw.
yeah.
It feels like a waste of time for me.
And by comparison, like if you think about, because he's emulating Moxley's entrance, but
Hmm.
even Moxley moves through the ring quicker than Umino does.
Yeah, like Umino tries to cater to the crowd, and that's great. But like what's their full name? Blackpool Combat Club,
Hmm.
BCC.
Hmm.
BCC. Interesting. Um, they move with purpose. Like they do come out and they'll look around the crowd, but they don't stop at every intersection and look at the crowd. And that's
Hmm.
kind of what Shota does. It's
Hmm.
like the Blackpool Combat Club, they're a heel faction, aren't they? They don't cater to the crowd. They just come out through it, right?
They did when they were faces a little bit, but not to the level Umino does.
Yeah, so like that's something that I think the continuity they need to kind of figure out between themselves, because Shota certainly is banking on and playing himself up as an extreme face of this company. And I feel like the BCC guys there are heels. Like from what I see, from what I hear, are very heely. So for Shoto to be doing one thing and them to be doing another, but then be associated, makes very little sense to me. So I'd like to see that continuity kind of figure itself out. But getting back to this match, you're absolutely right about Kaido. Just the perfect combination of Okada and Muto. I think having these two go against each other was actually a very, very shining match. And I feel that their experience levels were so close that we had such a very crisp match for these guys being so new to this industry that this was a main event level match. I was very, very impressed with it.
Mm-hmm. I thought these two actually did phenomenal. Again, if you want to watch two young guys just
Hungry guys.
kill it in the ring for 20 minutes, check
This
this
is your
match out.
match.
I highly recommend it.
Highly recommend. Yeah.
Semi main event: Taichi, Kazuchika Okada battle for first place in their block. Was it B block, right? Yeah, B block. Battle for
Mm-hmm.
first place in the B block. Right off the hop, spinning tombstone, spinning rainmaker, but Okada misses the actual rainmaker, and Taichi gets
Mm-hmm.
the fuck is the what the hell did I write? I think I meant to write DDT, but I wrote B bot.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
I'm bad at notes. Gets the B bot, a forearm, and an enziguri, and both men are down. Again, like very quick start. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they end up on the floor, battle on the floor. Okada gets the DDT on the floor. Back in the ring, Okada gets the money clip in the ring. Taichi gets stopped on a backdrop, so he hits a hook kick and he takes off the pants. Again, took the pants off early in this match. Melba loves it when he takes off the pants.
Yeah, so does Chris Charlton.
That's an interesting statement. He misses the buzzsaw kick, but gets an enziguri and a very harsh Kawada kick to the face of Okada. That looked like it hurt. Um, so back in the ring, Okada gets the air raid crash neck breaker, follows it with a John Rue drop kick into the corner, gets Taichi up in the corner, and drop kicks him to the floor. This is when they start fighting the floor again. Okada gets a DDT on the entrance ramp, and then like slamming the face of Taichi into the ramp. It looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back in the ring, they're just the battle between these two is absolutely tremendous. I think
Mm-hmm.
both these guys are just tremendous workers. Uh, Taichi really working for the backdrop in this match, that dangerous backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
Does get him up on top, and he hits that super dangerous backdrop. Yeah, really good. And then he hits a missile, goes up top, hits the missile drop kick, and he hits the power bomb. Then the buzzsaw kick. Sorry, no, Okada goes for the missile drop kick, but Taichi turns it into a power bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets Taichi hits the buzzsaw kick, hits the thrust kick, or goes for the thrust kick, but Okada drop kicks Taichi, and then Taichi ends up turning a rainmaker into the dangerous backdrop. Again, then Taichi just the camera shot was perfect. It's so Okada like getting up, pushing off the rope, and Taichi standing behind him, just staring him down. It is like one of the greatest shots I've ever seen. I should have taken a screenshot of it.
I'm telling you, we need to have this trade off between NJPW and NJPW Strong, where NJPW guys teach NJPW Strong guys how to do those camera shots, how to do production, how to just not fuck shit up. And strong guys, whatever their strength is, they need to teach NJPW.
Yeah, and then Taichi just comes in and just hits another dangerous matchup. Again, these two are just killing each other. Taichi gets an axe bomber in the bridge in German for 2. Black Mephisto does get countered. Okada gets a roll up. Taichi slips out of the landslide, shoves Okada in the rope, but Okada misses the drop kick. Taichi gets a Taichi cluck, but Okada kicks up like 2.9. You're like, ah!
I thought he had it there.
I really did too. So the Enziguri and thrust kick. He gets the Taichi gets Enziguri, goes for the thrust kick, but he gets Enziguri by Okada, but then Taichi comes back, hits a Gamenguri. Okada reverses out of a power bomb with the backdrop, and Okada just rolls him up with like backdrops up, drops down, grabs the legs, and steals the win because Taichi was in control in these last couple of minutes, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that seemed to be the theme of this night. That a lot of these matches had not followed our stereotypical NJPW template where
Mhm.
the guy who's not going to take the win is dominant throughout the match, and then then they lose at the end. I felt that this one was actually like they've been kind of messing with us throughout this. There was a couple steals this night that we were just not expecting, or expecting someone else to pick up the win, and they didn't. I love the pants. Always a pants
Mhm.
fan now. Um, just because you look forward to it, you start to look for the little nuances that he's going to start doing his little booty pants dance. We're going to call that. He has a little shimmy that he does when he's getting ready to derobe. I don't have a whole ton to add to this. I really enjoyed how these guys did this. Okada, I mean, I was hoping for Tai Chi, but I kind of in the back of my consciousness knew that Okada was going to pick up the win here just because it's Okada.
Mhm.
He's just such a demanding and dominant talent, not just in general, but like in this company. To think that he would not be able to come up on top over Tai Chi, again, I had hope, but I kind of knew Okada was going to come out on top on this one.
Yeah. Oh, Okada.
No, it hurts.
Yeah, Okada. So we're gonna move on.
Yes. Oh,
Goddamn, was this the Yoda Suji show?
yes.
Like, goddamn, this guy, like, he was really like. Don't get me wrong. Sonata did some great stuff in here, but this was the Yoda Suji show. This is Suji
Hell
getting
yeah, it was.
really getting showcased. They're
So much so.
uh Suji though blocking the Shining Wizard early twice
Hmm.
looked really good. I really liked that. Had that little counter to it. Uh,
Hmm.
and then Sonata's just like saying he was this close to taking him out early, and it was just that little. I loved it, man.
Hmm.
They end up fighting to the stage, and this is where I hate. Like, I hate this. It's like, oh, I'm gonna hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker onto my knee. Why didn't you just do that in the ring? There's no added anything doing it on the if you're doing it on the ramp or in the ring, it's a move to your knee. If it was
Yeah.
simply slamming onto the ramp or onto the entranceway, sure, that's different. But
That was Sonata doing that to Suji, right?
no, it was Suji getting the tilt a whirl because
Right, because Sonata brought him out and he reversed it into that, right? Yeah, yeah.
but there is no significant advantage to doing that on the outside.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
And
I
it's so
remember also being confused because Sonata, like when he takes people to the outside, he doesn't typically take people up the ramp. And if I'm remembering correctly, Sonata was the one who actually led Suji up the ramp, which is a
oh
little
yeah.
not usual to him.
Yeah. So Suji, or as I wrote it, Suki carries Sonata back to ringside, hot shots him on the apron, and hits a big boot on the floor. So
Go
Kevin Kelly
Suki.
has given a name to a Yoda Suji move, the scoop slam, and then he hits the running splash, which is now known as Mount Suji.
It was always known as Mount Suji,
Was
but I
it?
refuse to acknowledge it as Mount Suji. I have my
Okay.
own name for it. I call it the salmon splash.
Okay, Mount Suji it is. But yeah, these two I thought
I like my name better.
yeah, so I just think the back and forth these guys absolutely tremendous, like just so good. So in the end, moonsault in the skull in by Sonata, but Suji slips out and hits a Falcon Arrow driver for two. Sonata
Mhm.
reverses the gory special into a poison rana, which looked phenomenal, by the way, and hits a shining wizard, but
Mhm.
Suji ends up slipping through deadfall and he kicks him, hits a gross ass headbutt, and hits the stomp to Sonata, but Sonata kicks out at like 2.9, just like barely kicks out. So after that, Sonata hits like an RKO cutter when Suji's going for the spear, hits the moonsault, gets a 2 count, so he picks him up, hits deadfall. Sonata is undefeated with 6 points.
I've been such a fan of Sonata for so long, but like I've been saying this nonstop since he's joined Five Guys, since he's won the championship. It's just an underwhelming champion. I find him to be, despite how he looks and how he presents himself, like aesthetically speaking, he looks like a champion. But then he opens his mouth, and I'm just like, I've been very underwhelmed with his championship run. Um,
Mhm.
I wish that there was like an intercontinental championship again that he could maybe be challenging for holding instead of the world championship. I feel like there's a few other guys in this company that would be better suited to leading the company and being the shining star at the top, as it were, for the company. But I digress.
Hmm.
Suji, you're absolutely right. This was the Suji show. He was just showing up and showing out. I thought this was going to be a Sonata Suji 2.0. It was very, very much not equal like their first kind of showing where we
Hmm.
were given a balance of both of these guys kind of showing off their shit. This was definitely a Suji showing off his shit kind of show, which unfortunately told us, as per our NJPW template, that he was not going to be victorious in this match. However, I thought Suji did phenomenal. I'm happy to see the salmon splash again.
Mount
I have
Suji.
nothing to add.
Mount Suji.
Salmon splash.
Mount Suji.
He looks like a frickin' fish when he's just like "Wrrr," in the air. No, no.
Yeah, so
Salmon
we're gonna
splash.
go a quick point update. You have Sonata on top with 6, Kaito Kiyomiya with 5, Chase Owens, Gabe Kidd, Chase Owens and Gabe Kidd, sorry, with 4 points, Narita Umino with 2, Yoda Suji with 1, and Hikuleo 0 points so far. And
That
then
just
over,
seems so odd.
it does. But if you look, the young guys are on the bottom, where more experienced guys are on top.
It's just weird to me that Suji has only one still, though, and that the other two have two.
Well, it's just each Narita and Umino have each had 2 draws now. Where
Mm-hmm,
Suji's
mm-hmm.
had 1 draw, so that's
Yes,
why
and
they're
one
ahead
loss. So,
in
or
2
two
losses.
losses. Two
Yeah.
losses, yeah.
So in the B block, you have Okada on top with 6. You have Taichi and Will Ospreay and Yoshihashi in that order,
Mm-hmm,
in with 4 points.
mm-hmm,
You have Tongaloa, Kenta, and Great Khan with 2 points, and you have El Phantasm with the big old 0. So right now, if we went to semifinals, you have Sonata and Kaito Kiyomiya going to the semifinals
mm-hmm.
in the A block. Then you have Kazuchika Okada and right now Taichi going to the B going to the
Hmm.
quarterfinals because Taichi has beaten Osprey
Mm-hmm.
and Osprey has beaten Hashi. That's why I put the order. It's Taichi, Osprey, then Hashi.
Oh, yes, with the beat outs and stuff.
With,
Okay.
with wins again. Hashi and
Mm-hmm,
Taichi have not faced yet, which will determine which would
mm-hmm.
determine that 3-way. But again, again that's who will be moving on right now. So
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. We move on. Six starts it off.
Christ.
Absolute tremendous match. Those fucking eyes, man. They scare me.
Every time I see it, and I'm just like, God damn it. He's such a handsome man. And then he does that, and he just.
Mel fantasizes about those eyes every night.
Are you kidding me? That is my nightmare staring at me from my closet.
We all know that's your fantasies.
That
Come
is
on.
my sleep paralysis demon creeping out from under my bed.
Angry Alex just wrecking barricades and tossing entrance stuff. What what made this android go haywire? That's the real question.
He was hungry, like hungry hippos. Angry Alex was hungry.
Oh, I'm glad I could help you.
Relatable.
Yeah. Kevin says this is where Kevin says Fujita starts his excursion after the G1 is heading to Australia to
Yeah.
start his excursion. So I'm guessing he's going with his boys, TMDK, down to Australia. I'm really hoping we get to see him on some New Japan Tamashi, on Fale's promotion, New Japan promotion down there in New
Mhm.
Zealand and Australia, because I know Tamashi has worked in New Zealand, but has also expanded to Australia itself.
Mm-hmm,
So I'm really hoping to see Fujita on those shows when we get some more of those. Again, very much looking forward to that.
Fancy boy.
And Fujita was saying, "I'm not doing an extrusion. I'm done. I don't need one." No, you're getting one. The only person that doesn't have to do it. His name is Hiroshi Tanahashi. The only person that hasn't had to do it. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Saber snapping the arm with his feet, really working the arm. This match was Saber
Mhm,
working the arm. He
mhm.
goes for a triangle, but Cogna lifts him up and just
Yeah.
tosses him off, and Saber
Yeet.
ends up rolling to the floor. Like Cogna sends Saber into the barricade on the floor. Uh, Alex goes for his belt, but this is where Fujita stops him. Uh,
Mhm,
the belt, but he lays Fujita out. Yeah, again the work in the just this little things is what I like.
mhm, mhm.
Those little things. That deadlift gut wrench suplex by Coggin, just yeeting Saber around. God damn, this guy is freakish strong. Again, Saber's not the biggest dude, but he was doing this to Cobb a couple
Yes.
on night 4. So again,
Yeah.
this dude freakishly strong.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Coughlin has the amazing ability of lifting Saber with ease
Mhm.
before that backbreaker he did.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's a feather to him.
It really
It,
is.
yeah, it's crazy, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, inverted triangle on the ropes by Saber, really learning from his mentor Minoru Suzuki right there.
Mhm.
But
Saw that. Love it.
the ref has can't decide to break it. Saber ends up contorting the arm and does the arm where he gets the arm like this and and then he stomps on it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh Jesus. The Saber
Yeah.
starts in on the yes kicks, but Coggin catches one and lifts him up and slams him hard,
Yeah.
like hard. But he ends up
That was
getting
an awkward landing. Yeah.
but he's delayed getting to the cover, so he only gets 2. Um, yeah. In the end, though, uh, they trade strikes. Saber's getting palm strike, all these awesome palm strikes and kicks. But Colgan hits an inside out lariat. But Saber ends up pulling an arm bar. But Colgan rolls through and hits a deadlift German and
Mhm.
gets a 2. And my phone got to stop going off. Jesus. Bridging fall away slam by Coughlin. He rolled then uh, for 2, but so he rolls through, and Saber ends up working the arm, pulls an arm bar, puts him into the triangle choke, and like this was very MMA in the way that they did this. As soon as he had the triangle choke lock in, like Coglios went tapping. He's like, "No, I'm not fucking.
Mhm.
I'm not
Mhm.
getting hurt any longer." He's like, "I'm not letting my
Relatable.
tapped out quickly," and then
Mhm.
anchoring Alex right back at the end, just knocking out Young Lions, and then chases Saber and Fujita to the back.
And again, like, what is with these big guys? I get it. It's big and awkward, but like between him and like that moose guy, the runs that these big guys do are just hilarious. Like you just want to put some like hilarious 40s style like villain cartoon music behind them while they're just running and it was funny. It was humorous. The
Mhm.
rest of this match not so much. Like I said, King Yeet, Big King Yeet. Dan Maloney is Little King Yeet. This is Big King Yeet. He was yeeting freaking Zack Sabre Jr. all over the ring for this match, all over the outside. Um, this was also the match where I noticed Kevin giving Oscar the most shit because they kept running people into the barricades in front of Kevin, and
Mhm.
Kevin kept losing his monitor and losing sound and just Oscar, sir, be better. The tricep
You
stomp.
have the he has the honor of being Kevin Kelly's personal
Yeah, be
security.
worthy of it,
Do
sir.
do better before he has to bring in freaking Loibe or Bolton. Like, come on, man, come
Oscar
on.
is Loibe.
Oh, it is bring in Bolton. Sorry, my brain is not working. It's too
Nakashima.
early in or
Nakashima.
not. That's what I meant. Nakashima or
Oiwa.
Bolton Oleg. Bring in one of those guys if he has to. Like, you want Bolton Oleg or Yu Nakashima because they're big bullets.
I mean, Oscar's a big boy too, but clearly little flighty that one. It's the mullet. We're gonna say it's the mullet.
Yeah,
because he's
definitely
now
that.
rocking a mullet. So we'll just say it's the power of the mullet that's not helping you, Loibe. Back to the match though, the tricep stomp on the apron that Zack Sabre did was desperate but very effective. I think that definitely kind of spelt the beginning of the end for Coughlin in regards to that triangle armbar there. The neck twist variation that Zack Sabre did also throughout the match. I didn't say where or how because I'm not that talented, but it looked very fun. And I wrote it was very smart for him to use to get out of whatever situation he was in. I felt like this match was Coughlin just strong arming his way through Zack Sabre Jr. And I think that is his usual kind of way. And as a result, what I'm going to say next, I hope it doesn't upset you, Andre, but I felt that there was a pretty evident difference between experience levels
Hmm.
in this match. It was very obvious to me that Zack Sabre Jr. was the heavily experienced veteran in this match, and it was very evident to me that Coughlin was the kind of new up and comer. Not because he was fucking up or he was doing anything wrong, it was just the ability that Zack Sabre Jr. has in comparison to correct things, to play off things, to transition things was just a lot more apparent. And Coughlin was still able to do a lot of these transitions and things too. He just wasn't able to do them as quickly.
Hmm.
And that's the where I'm saying the experience difference is that Zack Sabre Jr.'s just been simply doing it longer and is more fluid with it. Whereas Coughlin, he can do it. It's just not as seamless quite yet because he is just he's newer than Zack Sabre Jr., but he's coming along so well. I really enjoyed this match. I actually, like I mentioned but to you before, I think this was actually the match that I had the most notes on for this night,
Yeah.
which is
Again,
surprising. But
again,
I
fun,
really enjoyed this match. I thought they did great.
again, fun, strong opener, man. It really
Mhm.
was.
100%.
So we move on to the second match. It was Mikey Nichols versus Tamatonga. Tama trying to drop Nichols early with the shoulder, and does eventually.
Mhm.
Um, Nichols tossing Tama to the floor, but Tama reverses or tosses Tama to the floor, and then Tama reverses the whip and sends Nickel into the barricade. But Nichols ends up dodging the splash, and this is where Tama goes crashing into the barricade and tumbling over.
Mhm.
Looked really good. Um, and onto the exposed floor. They end up fighting by Kevin Kelly, and this is again where he's yelling at Loibe, "What's going on, Oscar? What the hell?" Again,
Yeah, they were
they're fighting.
literally fighting in between Kevin's desk and the barricade.
Again, it's where are the fuck are you, Loibe? Jesus.
Damn it, Oscar.
Nichols catches Tama coming off the top. It gets or catches him running in and gets him on his shoulders. Hits a beautiful belly driver for two.
Mhm.
Um, Tama Tonga gets the SRC. Gets the SRC, but stopped up top. Nichols. What the fuck am I writing? Man, I suck at typing. Um, Tama misses a gun stun. Nichols misses his seating lariat, but ends up getting a spine buster in the seating lariat for two. End of the match comes like a power slam cutter or like a big ending by Mikey Nichols. Misses the moonsault, but Tama hits his that gun stun into the moonsault. Very,
So good.
very, very Randy Orton like there.
Mhm.
And then hits another gun stun and gets the win in like 7 minutes or something like that.
It was a pretty
Uh
quick one, yeah.
9 minutes and 10 seconds. Again, this we're gonna be going through a few shorter ones here.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one, actually. I don't have anything to add to the match itself. You kinda took all the
The
stuff, which
match
is good.
match?
The match, the matchy match. What I did want to say though is I really enjoy the new look on Mikey Nichols. I hadn't mentioned it yet. The cobalt blue trunks and the matching boots, the black accent kick pads. It looks really slick on him. And the comparison I made on here is there's like you can do something like Mikey Nichols where it's like a solid color and have very minimal deckling on it and it still makes you look great. Like you have the decals in the right place that accentuates the right thing. And for Mikey Nichols, the simplicity of his gear actually makes him stand out. a lot more in his own respect with his build and with his like wrestling and stuff. The comparison I made was something to like Chase Owens, who has a lot more stuff on his gear, but again, it's in a space, an area that actually accentuates certain things. So, like Chase Owens, he's got a booty. You know, seeing the writing across his butt, it accentuates his butt in certain places, especially with the color blocking. So it's interesting to see the difference between the two, with the one with the more busy gear, one with the more simple gear, but both of them still look really good. Yeah, I think blue is actually more Mikey Nichols' color than the orange. I think the blue just hits him quite right. That makes him look like that full, well-rounded professional wrestler.
He would look really wrong if the tights were full orange. It would look really wrong. Maybe
Yeah,
if
even
he
if
had,
it was
I,
like the orange and black, I feel like his skin tone would make it look really weird. I feel like the blue offsets it just perfectly.
I kind of would like if he added like a orange stripe down each side, like the side of the pant leg, maybe on each side, just to give that little bit of TMDK accent to it, but not to go full out. You know what I
Maybe
mean?
on the deckling, like on the, because he's got the three skulls deckling on the side.
And
Maybe if he like accented it or like
frame it with
outlined it with
orange.
the
Yeah.
orange, yeah. But like I feel like the blue is the perfect color for him.
Oh, 100%. He needs the blue as the base. 100%.
Because it
Doesn't
makes
look
him
great.
stand out in a positive way.
It was the same way when he
Um,
was in NXT with Shane when they were in NXT. He
mhm.
wore the blue trunks where Shane wore orange trunks, and again, they
Yeah.
contrasted perfectly.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. That's all I wanted to say.
We move on to the match that made me madder than anything else. And I watched the main event and didn't make wasn't as joined by that.
Yeah, the main event was
Hiroki,
pretty atrocious.
Hiroki Goto, Shane Haste, each coming in with 2 points. So Haste full on like, and Goto's coming in with injured ribs. So Haste drop kicks him into the corner right off the hop, hits the leg lariat, hits a beautiful leaping cannonball into the corner. Like that cannonball, like when he got jumps up, flips like with the flare, just this guy is absolutely tremendous, and he's only showing how good he is with all these singles matches.
Mhm.
Goto's hurt. The ref is holding Shane back, but Shane comes in, starts kicking at the injured ribs of Goto, and Hasten kicks him in the face. And then this is where Goto comes back, hits an inside out lariat. Both men are down. Goto then gets a rear naked choke. Haste fights out, unloads on Goto with strikes. Till Goto gets a headbutt, like, really gross. Um, Gets the rear naked choke into a crucifix roll ups, and he sneaks out a win at 2 minutes and 29 seconds.
Yeah,
Fuck you. I was robbed of a match I was very much looking forward to.
I agree. I felt that this match, first of all, was too short, but I understand why. Again, with the rib injury on Goto, especially if that's a legit injury, you know,
And pull if he's actually hurt, pull him out of the tournament. Don't
I
have
I,
him
I
come in doing these
agree.
stupid little short matches because
Yeah,
this would like I absolutely think Goto is an incredible worker,
100%,
and I have been
100% underrated worker in this company for sure.
and after I watched day four, I tweeted out Shane Hayes is making a name for himself with this
Hmm.
singles run, and
Hmm.
he gets given this. I'm sorry, I fucking hated this. Like this was a
Hmm.
match when I saw these two in the same block. I'm like, God damn, that's going to be absolutely tremendous. And I
Hmm.
got this. I am very don't get me wrong. I wanted Shane Hayes to win to get 2 points, but I'm okay with Go to winning. It's not the issue. I just wanted a good match out of these two.
Hmm. And it was a little underwhelming. And absolutely, you're right. If Goto is legit injured, he should be pulled from the tournament, especially with a rib injury. I mean, I know Tai Chi toughed it out last year. This is something that I have discussed on Astrid Pizarro and my show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase. If you are injured, you don't go to work. If you are injured, you don't frickin' fight. That's just what it is. When we're paying as fans to see you guys wrestle, the wrestlers wrestle, we're paying to see you guys wrestle safely. Like I know that certain deathmatch people are just stupid and they want to, wingity dingity their lives away, and that's great for them. Like, I love that for you. Live your best life. But in this kind of professional wrestling, that's not what we want to see. We want to see great quality matches, and we want to see great wrestlers. Goto is a tremendous wrestler. He's one of my favorite, as I said, one of the most underrated wrestlers right now, I think, in NJPW for the talent that he has. But I agree with
Yeah.
you in that this match was underwhelming and not what I wanted. I would have rather seen this match go longer and have the main event hacked the frick up. I would have rather had way less time for the main and more time in here. But that being said, if Goto's injured, I don't want to see him wrestling, period. I want to see
Yeah.
him at home resting so that when he comes back, he's given me that 100% that I'm used to seeing out of Goto. I expected, you remember Tanahashi and Goto from last year's G1? That was what I expected in this match. I was really let down.
Mhm. Yeah.
End of rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So we move on to Eddie Kingston versus Hanare, the battle of 2 points. Like again, this is a very good match. I just need
Mhm.
Hanare to stop hitting headbutts.
I
Like
agree. Stop with the head shit.
and again, this is a lot of people in this tournament. I'm getting worried about this. I know
Mhm.
Eddie has like a very thick head. Don't get me wrong, but Jesus Christ, man! Like I even if I had a thick head, which I do, I don't want to take a headbutt to my head. We'll talk about headbutts in a couple of matches again,
Mhm.
done well and safe. But yeah, this is Hanare working the arm of Eddie Kingston. Very good
Mhm.
style, but also working the liver of Eddie Kingston with the liver
Apparently.
punches. The liver punches were just great. I love that.
That's it.
Hanare hitting a senton onto the arm of Eddie Kingston. If you know the senton,
Mhm.
he went farther than usual and landed on the arm of Kingston. I thought that was a great little spot.
Very smart.
Um, Eddie really, I thought Eddie did a great job, really, and again, his brawling style really worked against a fighter like Hanare. I think
Mhm.
it was really good meshing of styles. I thought they did really good.
Mhm.
Eddie
Mhm.
reversing the rampage into a DDT looked quite. I really quite liked that one.
Mhm.
Um, side like sidewalk slam into a power bomb. Like he just pulls him out of the sidewalk, stuff, spins him around, and sits down
Yeah.
with him. Looked really good by Hanare. High
Yeah.
knee in the corner, followed by the PK by Hanare for two. Eddie ends up stopping Street to Raids, hits this crazy palm strike, and then
Mhm.
whips Hanare into the corner. But Hanare comes right back out with a rampage and gets two. Enzuigiri's by Kingston, and he gets the half and half suplex. He tries the forearm, but he's like grabbing it like he's hurting, right? So he
Mhm.
just his left hand and just starts paintbrushing the face of Hanare, just slapping the shit out of him. I was like, that's
Mhm.
actually really. And again, the way he was doing it, they weren't as effective slaps, but he was doing it
Mhm.
so much that it kind of stunned Hanare, which was great because it's like that shouldn't be the hand you're hitting as hard with, but because he's
Mhm.
doing it so fast and so hard, it's going to disorient Hinari, which made it
Like
like
Melball fighting.
yeah. Again, but it was a good smart use because the one guy has his arm hurt, he used the other one, he hits just as hard. I don't like that. That's not your dominant arm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So thrust kick and Eddie gets a spinning back fist. Thrust by Hanare. Eddie hits a spinning back fist. Hanare hits the headbutt, but Eddie returns with another spinning back fist and drops Hanare, and then Kingston collapses on top of Hanare. Not even pinning him, he just falls on top
Mhm.
and he pins Hanare. Like I thought these two had a really damn good match. This might be the best thing I've seen out of Eddie Kingston in this entire tournament because he sold really well the arm, and him and Hanare just meshed so well with their fighter styles.
I'm just going to point something out that I've been noticing because Melball loves to notice her consistencies. Something that I've noticed since we've been talking about Eddie Kingston on our show, specifically on NJPW Puroresu Review here, every single time you talk about him, you say that same line. This is the best I've seen out of Eddie Kingston. This is the
Mm-hmm.
best I've seen out of Eddie Kingston. He is getting better and better and better on an NJPW stage. Whatever AEW is doing is epically failing. You
I
guys,
agree.
take some freaking notes. Like, you have to be watching what your dude is doing over here. Book him there in here in North America in the same way that NJPW is doing there you will end up with, I'm not going to say a Stone Cold Steve Austin, but you could end up with something comparable to this generation of, if
Mhm.
you book him the way that NJPW is doing, because he's becoming, I don't want to say a lovable idiot,
The
because he's
every
not an idiot. He's clearly a very good, accomplished wrestler, but he's becoming something worth watching for me. Who, like, compared him to Bo Raicho on Mortal Kombat, which is one of the most underwhelming drunken fist characters you could ever think of. You know, he's becoming something really fun and entertaining to watch, and that's the point. It's
Mhm.
the point.
Yeah.
Book him like this. I love this.
And again, I think part of it is just the talent he's been in with is absolutely
Hmm.
tremendous. And these guys are just, especially this one, and like the last two matches have been great.
Yeah.
This to me, it wasn't to the level of those matches and some of the stuff they did, but I just found the fluidity between these two and
Hmm.
the style that they both work.
So good.
They're both working that brawling style. It just meshed so well, and it was just so
Yeah.
enthralling and entertaining. Like
But they
I want.
have these kind of guys on AB or AEW also.
Mhm.
They can give Eddie Kingston this and have it be just as good on AEW television and elevate both Kingston and whoever they have fighting with him.
Yeah, because the only two things from AEW that I think have been good from Eddie Kingston, personally, again, I know a lot of other people love him, and I'm not discounting that. This is a
Mhm,
personal opinions from you and me. Were the Tomohiro Ishii matches and the
mhm,
Junaki match. That's
mhm,
it. Like everything else, I've been like, he's very much been underwhelming to me. But here,
mhm,
and I said this, and during the preview show that we did with SNME. I wasn't super looking forward to Eddie Kingston. I've said this. I said this on when I did their AEW 3D show. We were
mhm,
talking about it. I'm not a big Kingston fan, but god damn, he's making me a fan. And if he can keep this
mhm.
consistency when he goes back to the States, I am on the Eddie Kingston train now. Again,
Who do
I'm
we
not like
think for this? Do we think Gato?
yeah. Again, it's
Don't we
like
think Gato?
yeah, and again, I'm looking at it like I've been a fan of Eddie Kingston the person for a long time because of his openness of his talking about his mental health and the
Mhm,
struggles he has gone through personally. I've been a
mhm,
fan of him personally for a long time, but it's finally clicking for me
mhm,
as a professional wrestler.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
And like, just set completely off of the Eddie Kingston thing, Hanare's got to be having the most. I mean, he's having such a great year, but he's also got to be having one of the Bronson Reed level identity crises, going from Toa Hanare to Aaron Hanare. Now he's just Hanare. It's like, we're gonna stick there then.
Well, at
We're gonna,
least the Hanare has been consistent.
at least the Hanare is consistent. Yes, he's just confused about what his first name is. So let's just drop it entirely so we don't have to use that part of our brain. And
Like
I'm
if
totally good with that. Hanare sounds a lot nicer, and he has a new name, doesn't he? Like a new nickname,
I don't know what it is. I
something
didn't.
Fury. There's Fury is in it.
The United Fury. I don't know. The Fury
The
of the Empire.
United Toa Aaron Fury.
The Fury of the Empire. I don't know. I really don't
Hey,
know.
whatever works. This was a fun match.
It was. Now this was a clever match. Like the
This
way
was a
they
thing.
the way just it was a Yano match with Naito being Yano. Like he
Yeah,
was.
that's actually the best way to describe it. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it made it because again, I kind of go, oh, fucking Yano match. This one wasn't that bad because I was just like, this is a little bit of a like difference in the fact that Yano kept fucking with, like he takes forever to get the ring, just pissing Yano off,
Mhm.
and that pisses me off. I don't like how long it takes him to get a ring. It's the same reason I have a problem with Umino.
Yeah,
I just
same.
again, I
But
don't
this
like
was
the fact that
hilarious.
the way he's playing to I did fast forward a bit through the
You
entrance just because
had to.
I'm like this is getting long and I skipped it. But like Naito getting the few roll ups at the beginning and Yano escapes the outside, getting mad that he's getting rolled up early, and it's just and the attitude like that last game like attitude that Naito's giving him was just funny. And he's just standing on the floor just screaming at Naito. And then he takes forever to get back in the ring. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
And then the music restarted and Naito ran back up the ramp.
No, I'm talking once the match started.
Oh, okay.
There was
Well,
that whole
I
thing
was
on.
I was still on the
Oh,
intro.
oh, the whole thing where Yano gets out and he's like, "Get in the ring" because the music's restarting. He's like, he's pissed the fuck off. So,
Oh, and I would be too, because goddamn.
so when they did get in the match, Naito immediately starts rolling him up with a bunch of roll ups, and that's where
Mhm.
Yano goes to the floor and is yelling and screaming at Naito in the ring because he's pulling the Yano bullshit of immediate roll ups. So
Mhm.
again, it's beautiful, and the anger, and then Yano getting back in took forever to get back in the ring. And then as soon as he gets in, Naito goes out, and you see Yano just getting more and more frustrated. So Yano follows him out, um, and like they end up fighting on the outside, and he ends up whipping Naito into the barricade. He ends up removing a corner pad, and then Naito gets run into the barricade again after a little, as Kevin Kelly said it, a little do-si do, as they
Yeah.
spin each other around. Naito ends up pulling Yano's arms through the barricade, takes the tape for. Did he take Yano's tape or did he have his
He
own?
took Yano's tape. Yano had the tape.
And Kevin kept saying, "Oh, Naito brought his own tape." Like just it was great, and he tapes the shit out of Yano's hands, and he goes back in the ring and chills. Yano's fighting, gets back in at 19 because he breaks the tape, gets back in at 19. Uh,
Mhm.
Yano stops getting whipped into the exposed corner. Then he tries to remove another. Then Naito tries to remove another. Then
Mhm.
Yano whips him at the corner, but Naito, as he's running towards, does a roll into his pose, and you see Naito get so fucking mad, and it was just perfection.
Wait, Naito or not Yano?
Oh, Yano
Yano.
gets so mad at
Yeah,
Naito for rolling into the
and
pose.
doing the pose. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so Yano hits the inverted atomic drop and sends Naito into the exposed corner with pendulum shot, whatever, to the slingshot
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and gets a couple 2 counts. Doesn't get a win here. Yano ends up missing the spear, and Naito victory rolls him and just gets the win at like 7 minutes, like 7.5 minutes. It was really, and then after the match, Naito starts whipping Yano into the exposed corner a couple times,
Yes,
and it was just
because
it,
eat it.
And it was just such a difference in the match because Naito started to play goofy, but not too goofy. He played
Mhm.
goofy, but not like Yano level goofy, but he played goofy enough to fuck with Yano, and it made
Yeah,
for an entertaining match.
it did, it did. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this match because it's Yano, but I always
Yeah.
know that Naito does everything and anything to elevate not just himself, but his opponent as well, and he 100% did that in this match. I loved it. It was so fun. I love Naito Goofy. I love Naito when he's serious and like, really putting his head to it, but like this is I think one of my favorite versions of Naito
Hmm.
is when he turns that goof factor on while still having a very serious match. I had a lot of fun with this one. I have
Hmm.
nothing to add to it because you took all this stuff. And that's
Yeah,
good because we're at a minute and 20 almost.
yeah. We're gonna move on. Goddamn,
Oh, boss.
this match. I'm going to explain this match in with my fist. That is what this match was. It was two dudes smashing the fuck into each other, just beating the living hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Um, doing safe headbutts because when they're doing the
And
headbutts,
getting beat.
they grab the head of the other person and go bang into their own hand.
Mhm,
They're hitting their own hand, so they're
mhm.
not hitting skull to skull, but it looks like they're killing the guy.
Yes, and their height is also a lot more comparable than most guys. Ishii is pretty short.
Yeah.
Shingo is also pretty short. So the headbutts were still kind of going also into like the what is this area?
Well, no, when they were doing just regular headbutts, they were hitting the shoulders. But
Yeah, yeah.
when they went for a skull to skull one, they
Oh,
put the
yeah,
head on
yeah,
the
they were
head
putting the hands
and
up.
hit their own
Yeah.
hand. But again, that's what Hanare should be doing. Or if he's going to throw an unprotected headbutt, throw them to the chest, throw them to the shoulder. Don't throw them
Mhm.
at the skull, you stupid idiot. This is
Protect your brain.
this is what you need to emulate. These two beat the living fuck out of each other. The pop up DVD by Takagi was absolutely tremendous. That superplex by Ishii off the top.
Shut up. So
And then
good.
Takagi got his own superplex off the top. Like these two
Hmm.
just killing it. Those backdrop drivers by Ishii on point. Like just these two are so good. Shingo reversing the suplex into that spike DDT.
Oof, yeah.
He hits Made in Japan, but Ishii kicks out of that 2.9. Like
Hmm.
just phenomenal. They end up reversing a bunch of each other's finishers,
Hmm.
and they're smacking the hell out of each other at the end. Takagi
Hmm.
hits a headbutt, but again, headbutts here, not here. He hit
Yeah.
here. It
Yeah.
still looks just as effective, and hits a high angle power bomb, but only gets a 2 count. So Takagi goes hits last of the dragon. Hits a big lariat. Hits last of the dragon, but he's like so like ugh. And they're at the 18-minute mark at this point, and he's
Hmm.
can't get up. So he gets up, takes Ishii's head off with a pumping bomber, and
Yeah.
gets the win. Absolutely tremendous match. Two men just smashing into each other, and it was perfection.
Yes, and it's been a hot minute since Shingo has picked up a win with the Pumping Bomber. It's usually been the Last of the Dragon or the Made in Japan that he's been kind of following up with. So it was really nice to see him pick up a finish, especially against someone like Ishii with the Pumping Bomber. Yeah, this match was just big meaty men hitting meat. They were the point was to knock the other down, and holy hot damn, did they freaking try! Their strikes were just next level strikes. I felt like both these guys, because they knew who they were facing, were hitting so much harder than they usually would. Like I just felt like Shingo was really whipping the chops a lot more than he usually does. And something I noticed, I don't know if you maybe noticed this also, Andre, Ishii, we've talked about having a tendency. I don't know if it's just because of his height or maybe he's just a freaking asshole. But like when he does chops in the corner, he tends to hit the chops pretty up in the throat as opposed to on the chest. Um, Shingo typically is not like that. He typically is very chesty with his chops. In this one, he was not. He was
Chesty.
not chesty. He was hitting Ishii in the throat as much as Ishii was hitting him in the throat. And I loved it because it was showing him like doing the, you're going to do this to me, F you, I'm going to do it to you too. And it was rattling Ishii's bell a little bit. You could see Ishii's eyes, like the whites of them for a few times from the chops in the corners, which are not, it's not something you typically see out of Ishii. Ishii is typically not very reactive when he's in fights, just because it's very rare that you find somebody who can hit Ishii as hard as Ishii is hitting you. When you hit Ishii as hard as he's hitting you, you get the reactions out of him. And we were getting tons of reactions out of Ishii this match. The last thing I wanted to say, my favorite combination that Shingo does is that the strike, straight right, and DDT combo that he does,
Mhm.
where he sometimes will do the lariat, or sometimes if people are expecting it, he'll do the DDT. That Ryukan lariat that he does, though, holy fracking freaking frick! Such a
Mhm.
great match,
Oh yeah.
so good.
These two tore the fucking house down, and it was
Heck
tremendous.
yeah.
This probably like the Eddie Kingston match was my match of the night up to this point. I've
Mhm,
never said that in my life, but it is. Um, but this took it. This was
mhm.
absolutely tremendous, and this kept it. This was a 18 and a half minute banger, and they like
Yabanaka.
I will put this on my list because this was killer.
This was great. This is a
Yeah.
great match. Good job to
Mhm.
both these guys. This one was very entertaining.
This one was fun. Like
Yeah.
having Cobb has just had such an interesting character throughout this tournament so far.
Mhm.
He's playing very loose in his character and being very like he'll do some little bit of a dastardly if he has to, but he's
Yeah.
not. But
See?
he's like, see, but he's just so good that he doesn't have to. The great wrestling off the start. Tana gets a drop toe hold in the corner, drop kicks the knee at Cobb. Cobb rolls to the floor. Cobb ends up running Tana into the post, or lifts up
Mhm.
Tana, runs him into the post, and then like in a suplex position, runs into the post, and then just drops him on the apron. Like
Mhm.
Christ. Well, he started to fall, then he halfway came down, then lifted him back up, and then slammed him on the apron. It was just God, that guy is powerful.
Mhm.
Um, Cobb gets the backbreaker and then he gets an abdominal stretch over a knee and starts playing it like it was meow. He starts like twang 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 twang. He's like doing the banjo or
Yes, yes.
ukulele. But it was
And then he
just
starts playing the ukulele.
well, then he gets the short arm clothesline when he's standing and starts playing the air ukulele. And I
Yeah.
was like, yes,
So
because
cute.
Kevin Kelly did call it the banjo when he was doing it with Tana over his knee. He did say banjo because Cobb was even going twang to twang twang to twang. He was making like a twanging sound,
Yeah.
so it was more banjo than anything.
More banjo than bass.
Yeah, but again, absolutely tremendous. Like just the way
Mhm.
these two play off each other was absolutely great, man.
So
Uh,
good.
uh, Tanahashi getting the scoop slam and the somersault sent on to Cobb. He goes for sling blade, but gets drop kicked by Cobb, who gets then get for two, and then gets a standing moonsault, but still can only get two. Cobb slams Tana, goes for his own flip senton. It's like pulling Tana's flip senton, but Tana gets out of the way, and he gets a twist and shout, follows it up with a sling blade. Tana goes to the top, but Cobb stops him. Tana fights him off, but Cobb catches aces high. But Tana ends up turning the power slam. Like he gets him into a power slam position, but turns it into a sling blade, but misses the high fly flow.
Mhm.
But then Tana reverses toward the islands into a roll up for two.
Done.
And so they end up getting up. They have this hard strike exchange. And Cobb gets a snap German, then hits his own sling blade, like the Aloha blade. That's what
There you go.
I'm going to call it the Aloha blade. I'm going to
There
send
you
that to Kevin Kelly.
go.
And he follows it up with a tour of the islands and picks up the big old win. Cobb remains undefeated.
Mhm. Yes. So something I really liked about this pairing here is, we have high expectations for Hiroshi Tanahashi, and I'm not going to lie. When I went into this, I was like, I am a Cobb fan through and through, but I'm concerned based on who he is facing about him picking up the win in this. So
I
I was
was.
actually very pleasantly surprised for the end of this match when Cobb picked up that win. Um, yeah, you pretty much got everything that I had mentioned about this, like that I and the moves I had written down for this one. But yeah, are we kind of watching the kind of slow, steady decline of the once in a century talent that is the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi? Just because, again, he's struggling. You can see when he's coming down to the ring, he's stiff. He's struggling. Once that bell hits, he turns it on. And like wrestling someone with the experience and veteran level of Jeff Cobb, you couldn't tell that Tanahashi was in the last few months, not wrestling at that capacity. But you put him in the ring with Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is like Naito, is like Jordan Oliver, is like Bret Hart. He takes people that he's wrestling with and elevates them as much as he elevates themselves because he knows he looks good, they look good, they look good, he looks good, kind of thing. And I wish more people had that mentality when they go into the ring, um, especially with someone like Tanahashi. I felt that this was actually, despite taking the loss, I thought that this was actually a great showing for Tanahashi. And I felt that this was actually the best that he's looked in the G1 up until this point.
Mhm. Yeah. Again, both looked absolutely phenomenal in this match.
100%.
And then
Jesus Christ.
this happened.
This
I
was a
didn't
thing.
I did not hate it as much as I would, but I still didn't like it.
Same.
Finley did a good job as best he could because again, while he's a dastardly heel, he's still a good professional wrestler
Mhm.
who wrestles very well throughout most of his matches. Where
Mhm.
Evil, while being a good professional wrestler, does
Mhm.
not wrestle well most of the time because all he does is okay. So a lot of it was Evil and House of Torture trying to fuck with David Finley, but he had Kid and Gato with him to help negate that. So again, it's a
Mhm.
lot of the bullshit going on. Finley again. Finley's doing some dastardly shit to Evil. Evil's doing dastardly shit to Finley. Again,
Mhm.
I don't hate it because again, they're each doing dastardly shit to each other. It's not just one guy doing dastardly shit.
Mhm.
Then they end up on the outside. The teams brawl. How to torture overwhelms War Dog, so the ref gets knocked out. And there's 4 refs, and they take them all out. Right, all 4 refs are there, and they all get taken out. And then the big giant brawl. House of Torture overwhelms War Dog. Gato pulls out Show when he wants to use a wrench. Kids brawling with Show and Yujiro, and they brawl off into the crowd. So they brawl off. Goodbye, goodbye, right? Goodbye.
Hello.
Yeah, so they brawl off, and then so the main thing is it's Togo and Gato influencing the rest of this match,
Mhm.
and fuck do they ever? Because Togo ends up coming in, helps a magic killer. Um, Marty Sami slides in for the count, but Gato pulls the ref out. And Togo attacks Gato on the outside. Togo tosses the 2 chairs into Evil. Evil puts it on the neck. That's a home run. The home run shot. Um, Finley ends up blocking the shillelagh though by Evil. And with the never title, like Evil comes in with the shillelagh. He has the never title. It's given to him again. It blocks it with a title. Then hits Evil with the title. Then takes the shillelagh, hits Evil with the shillelagh, calls for the ref, and the ref gets shoved back. Or Red Shoes gets shoved back in. Yes, the Trash Panda, and Finley wins the match. Again, not the worst Evil thing I've seen,
Mhm.
but not good.
No, it was definitely not what I would consider main event worthy. That's
Mm.
for fracking
That's
sure.
that is my biggest issue with this match. That it was a main event at
Absolutely.
16 minutes. This should have been a 10-minute match
If that.
in the middle of the card. But again, Finley.
Absolutely. Shindo and Ishii should have been the main. 100%. This was, I literally got to Cobb and Tanahashi and I was like, do I have to? Do I have to continue? Because I knew this would be bullshit. And you're right. It wasn't the worst bullshit that we could have had to be suffering given what was involved, but it was not main event worthy. It
No.
was, and we've said it before, Evil is a great wrestler on his own without the shenanigans. But at this point, there's no reason to expect a legitimate match out of Evil while he is with House of Torture.
No.
So there's it's frustrating for me. I can't tell you how much pleasure it gave me watching David Finlay whack him in the face with the shillelagh though.
Yeah.
That felt so good. As soon as he went down, I was like, please just end this mess already. And they did. And I was happy because,
Hmm?
gosh diggity dang, you guys. Um, so this, I have a few questions coming out of this match. The first is, and the most important to me personally, is where is Chase Owens in this? I can see where he would have confliction because he's Bullet Club technically, and I wouldn't consider House of Torture. I haven't considered House of Torture Bullet Club since they formed, but he was an honorary Tongan, and he was more hanging out with Fale and Yujiro, who's more House of Torture.
And then he
Which,
what?
to be honest, I would rather be over there, especially if Peter's over there. She's the only thing that's really redeeming if she's even still a part of House of Torture or whatever the hell. That would be the only redeeming quality on House of Torture. But I'm not gonna lie. If I'm Chase Owens, I'm kind of annoyed on how I've been treated by Finley and the War Dogs. Gabe Kim coming in, or Gabe Kid coming in like a little bitch, and jumping him before the match and everything. If I'm Chase Owens, I'm sitting here going, what are either of you doing to deserve my
Mm.
experience, my expertise, my veteran ability? Andre, what do you think about that?
Yeah, again, it's he really just needs to stay out of it at this point.
Yeah.
Like I don't blame him for not helping. Like he was like, "Well, kid just kicked the shit out of me. I don't get along with House Torture. So what the fuck am I coming out there?" Like it's like does Chase
Tip your royalty check.
now Chase does recognize Finley as the leader because he does teamed with him a couple times after
Mhm.
Finley took over. So he does recognize him as leader, but like
But does Finley recognize Owens as a member? Because Finley has been sitting there going, I want killers. And he sure fucking has them. He's got 4 of them. And they're
well
all champions right now.
well, just
Well,
remember, like you got to remember yeah, he Chase Owens beat one of his killers.
well, and that's what I was going to segue into. I was
Oh,
like,
sorry.
he wants killers and he's got 4 of them. But one of those killers did kind of get killered himself by the veteran and experience that is Chase Owens. So if I'm David Finley, I'm going, okay, he might not be a part of the tag teams, but this guy's smart, he's experienced, and he's technically on my team. I want to utilize that. Whether I want to utilize it directly with putting Chase in matches with my boys, or if I want to have Chase training my boys, that remains to be seen. But I would want to keep him on. I would rather, have that in my pocket than stabbing me in the back kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
100%. 100%.
The second question that I have, where does this leave the relationships and the connection between House of Torture and Bullet Club? Because this was not what I would call a team effort in
Severed.
any respect. Even like if they're just doing what they need to try to win. The reaction of Togo at the end there after Evil had fallen and he was just kind of like, okay, back off, give it a break, would suggest that the relationship is still intact.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, if I'm Evil, if I'm House of Torture, and hell, even if I'm Bullet Club, I'm looking at the situation going, mm, are you though? Can we trust you? No, absolutely not. So I would personally, if I'm David Finley, be severing that royalty cut. But I'm not David Finley. I mean, if I'm looking at it, I say that House of Torture is taking away money from me. Sever
Mm-hmm.
that thing. Give me all the money.
Yeah, very
Well,
much
yeah,
so.
all aren't helping me at this point. What do you think,
Yeah,
Andre?
they need to sever it. They 100% need to sever it.
Mhm.
House Torture should not be part of Bullet Club. I know I make the joke every time, but they should not be part of Bullet Club.
No,
100%.
they're a different level of shenanigans that they don't.
They literally have a different hand symbol.
Yeah, they're not even doing this anymore. They're doing this, which makes me mad that I'm doing this now.
Well, you're copying Team 3D, you know?
Well, actually, I'm doing poi, but
She copied Team 3D.
poi. Poi is cuter.
3D did
Poi
it
is
first.
cuter.
The Dudley Boys did it first.
I don't care. And WA did this first too. Ugh.
So we move on. C Block
Yeah.
has David Finley alone in first. Then you have Evil, Kingston, Tonga with 4. You have Nichols, Aaron Nari, Shiko Takagi with 2, and Tomohiro Ishii with 0. Right now, if we got into the quarterfinals, you would have David Finley and Evil going to the quarterfinals. Sadly enough. Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
that would be. Not Finley, but Evil. In
Yeah.
D Block, you have Zack Sabre Jr. and Cobb sitting on top, 3 wins each, undefeated, 6 points. You have Goto and Naito each with 4 points. You have Tanahashi, Shinsuke with 2 points each, and then you have Coglet and Yano with 0 points. Big old goose egg for angry Alex. Not surprised for Yano, but big old goose egg for angry Alex, and I'm okay with that because that means Mel isn't getting points in our tournament from Alex Coughlin.
That's okay. That was the Astrid vote that I knew I wouldn't be getting points on.
Yeah, But we have come to the end of the show. I want to thank all of you for joining us. You can find me on Twitter, Mastodon, TikTok, Hive, at That Canada Guy, Instagram and Threads, at That Canada Dude. You can find me at our Facebook page, Andre and Melba Wrestling Talk on Facebook, if you want to get in touch with me. Also, you can find me over on our local establishment every Wednesday doing Marvel Talk. Actually, this Wednesday will be the final Marvel Talk until either the writers and SAG after strike is over, or and if that is over by the time Loki comes back, we will return for Loki. If not, we are not returning until that, because we want to support the writers and the actors in what they are doing. So we do not feel like we should be supporting the content that's being put out on their back. So we will be returning for the final episode of Marvel Talk for the foreseeable future. Myself, Old Ed, hopefully Astro Pizarro, and my boy Roberto Aguilar from SNME Radio will be talking about the finale and overall feelings of the season of Secret Invasion over on twitch.tv/ our local establishment Wednesday, July 26th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So please check that out. And if you are watching this on replay, you can check that replay out at youtube.com/ at our local establishment. You can also find me that same day. It's already been pre-recorded, July 26th on Remember the Game, talking about the horrible Doom movie from 2005. Even though I know you love Carl R. Urban, Mel, that movie was absolute shit. And
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of these live action game to movie style movies usually are. But Carl Urban. Wow. Um
and then And then please don't forget to check out our boy Mike the Ref over here at Backbreaker Video. Lots of great content over there. YouTube.com/ at Backbreaker Video. You might be watching chicken there. So if you are, go check out our YouTube channel at YouTube.com/ at Andre Bell Wrestling Talk. But you can check out all of Mike's live content that he's doing every week at Twitch.tv/ Mike the Ref. And if you want to see replays of all of his great gaming content, along with the gaming content from PJC, from Rick Jules, and from their freaking guest Kayla J, you can check them out over at youtube.com/ at backbreaker_gaming. Mel, where can they find you and Koji?
You can find a Malball on Twitter at Collins Malball. You can find her on TikTok, Mastodon, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky at Malball Collins. You'll find Koji over there too. He doesn't have his own stuff because he doesn't have his own phone to manage his own socials. It is what it is. I know he's so upset about it. You can also find a Melball on our local establishment with our programming Paramindful with Alex the Werewolf and the gold standard Caro Fell. Oh, my baby. We just recorded and released a new episode that came out on Monday, the 24th here, about missing 411 people. So if you're interested in finding out where all of us white people seem to be ending up, because it's always us stupid white people for some reason, check that out on our site there. You can also find the Melball at Astro Pizarro's YouTube channel with our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We haven't been able to put out an episode in a hot minute because Astrid's been getting some pretty amazing opportunities, and I would rather her have those opportunities than have to be spending a day with Jamal Ball. So, but you want to go check that out because we will be having another episode up soon here where we will be talking all about some of the amazing Stardom women, including Mariah May and Julia. So you want to go check that out. Bushes. If you're wanting to watch NJPW Pro Wrestling, we will leave a link in the description box below while my dog is snuggling me. Look at this adorable little baby. Oh. The website is www.njpwworld.com. It's approximately 999 yen, or I need my hands, $10 Canadian. Yeah. Or approximately $750 Canadian, which, hey, better than 10, right? That's pretty good price for some amazing wrestling for an entire month. It's certainly worth the cost, you guys, so go check that out. And that being said, Andre, is there anything left to say to the beautiful people?
I just want to thank all of you so very much for all the great support. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, because we'd love to hear and talk to you. And also hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello.
And that being said, I am your Melba. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.